Hello and welcome to the United Stand. This is our Jose Mourinho press conference reaction for the Brighton versus Manchester United game. Lots to discuss, some really good things, a few things that will irritate a little bit, but let's start off with the positive. The biggest thing for me from this interview that Mourinho did today wasn't about Pogba, which we'll talk about in very shortly, was about Jose Mourinho and his demeanour. Now, most of his press conferences last season, very negative. Not today. We saw some positivity from the Leicester in the way Mourinho was. And today, yeah, he wasn't robust, positive, passionate, but he certainly wasn't negative Jose of the summer and last season. There were reasons to be positive there around Jose Mourinho. So that was a tick in the box for me straight away. Let's talk about Paul Pogba, because I know a lot of you will want to talk about that. What did he have to say about Paul Pogba? Because obviously we spoke about Pogba a lot yesterday. The report from The Sun, Sky Sports saying that it was a load of nonsense from the club. It was always going to be told to be a load of nonsense. There's no way the club were going to tell Sky it was a load of nonsense and then Mourinho was going to come out and say there's some truth in it. I personally think what Mourinho said was very telling. In 2.5 years that he's been at the club, or just over 2 years, he's never been so happy with Paul Pogba that he's been with over the last week and a half. That is a real positive. We don't want a situation where Mourinho's coming out like Sir Alex Ferguson did a few years ago about Rooney. I want him at the club, but he wants to leave. We don't want that. We need, if this is the club and Mourinho and Pogba taking it back in-house and out of the public, thumbs up. We need to do that. And I agree with that. So that's a real positive. What else did he say? Well, he said what he said last week, really, that Pogba got back last week, really good in training, worked really hard, can't be any happier than I am with him at the moment. Was also asked about the comments about how Pogba said, well, he brought it up himself, Mourinho said, I think it's great that he says that he's playing for his teammates, he's playing for the fans. That's what I want him to do. I want him to be good on the pitch. That's all I can ask. So I think Mourinho basically saying, look, maybe well, he didn't say this, but this is my interpretation. He was also asked, what about the comments that Paul Pogba made about he can't say certain things or he'll be fined? And Mourinho said, you'll have to ask Pogba about that. Let's not beat about the bush. There's clearly an issue between Pogba and Mourinho. Anybody knows that. You'd be very foolish to think that there isn't an issue between Pogba and Mourinho. But these issues can be managed. Mourinho wants to manage it. Mourinho is the manager of Manchester United. And for the third time in a week and a half, he is glowingly praising Paul Pogba. Now, Pogba might have a residue issue with Mourinho from last season. That's his problem. But Mourinho is being very positive around Paul Pogba. That's all we can hope for from Manchester United fans. And basically, Mourinho is saying if he performs on the pitch, that's what I want him to do. So they don't have to be best friends. I don't think they are. They don't have to be going down, for an Italian or an Indian or whatever during the week, or catching up for a nice coffee, skinny latte, whatever. They don't have to do that. What they do have to do is perform in a Manchester United shirt or training coach or whatever Mourinho wants to wear for a game. And I believe that we're going to get to that. And he said, I expect Paul Pogba to have a really good game against Brighton. So for me, that's all we want. That's all we want. I don't agree with the people who say there is no issue. There clearly is. But let's deal with it professionally. There are loads of issues in a dressing room that we won't even know about. We don't need to know about this one. All we need to know, Paul Pogba playing for Manchester United, giving his best, and Mourinho trying to get the best out of him. And that, for me, is Gabriel says it's a little bit too late for praise now. Maybe it is. Maybe it is with Pogba, but Mourinho can only do what he can do, and he has got to get the best out of his players. Quite tellingly, though, the word of fine was mentioned, and he said, in my time here, the only person to be fined is Anthony Martial. So we heard that Martial had been fined. It has been confirmed now by Mourinho that Martial did get a fine for whatever happened over the summer in relation to going back to the birth of his child, which seems a bit harsh, but Mourinho has confirmed it. And we don't know the full story behind that. And Martial certainly wasn't mentioned any more than that. And Martial was on the bench last week, so that's a positive as well. What else did he mention? He mentioned quite a lot, to be honest with you. He said that in relation to players back for Sunday, Valencia and Matic are back training, but Sunday will be too soon. Good. I mean, I don't mind Valencia being back, but I don't want Matic back. I want Pereira to play. So that was quite good news. You'd expect those to be back for the Spurs game, though, because we don't play Spurs till a week on Monday. So 2 players back. Lingard's back, Fellaini's back, Lukaku's back. We know all about that. He did mention about, in relation to Valencia, this one might not please you so much. He said that, yes, Pogba will be captain on Sunday, but when Antonio Valencia comes back, he will be the captain for Manchester United. That is who his captain's going to be. So I don't agree with that. I don't like that. I don't want him to be our captain. I think Valencia is probably one of the worst captains I've ever seen at Manchester United. But that's Jose Mourinho's choice. He can't get it all right. I suppose when you're talking about the shoots of positivity, and there is a lot of positivity around United at the moment, and that's great to see, you can't have it all. Mourinho's still going to be Mourinho, isn't he? And he's got this ridiculous thing that Antonio Valencia is a captain. He's not a captain. He can't even bloody speak English. He's not a very good captain at all. But Mourinho seems set on doing that. The most obvious choice is to give it to Paul Pogba. Give it to Paul Pogba, get the fans on side, get Pogba on side, and let's go and actually win something. Because I think Pogba is that good. With Valencia as captain, he's just... Personally, I don't know what you think. I don't think Antonio Valencia should even be in the team. So, as captain of Manchester United, it's a bit of a sickener, but it's a minor thing. On Darmian will stay. The Serie A transfer window closes at 5 o'clock today. Highly unlikely that Matteo Darmian is going to leave Manchester United. And Jose Mourinho was asked the direct question about that. He said, no, I don't think he's going to go. Which is great, because Darmian is a player that's very valued in the dressing room, and we want him to stay. Again, I think this is a sort of legacy of a bad transfer window, that we're having to keep a player that I think he only played a handful of games last season, hardly involved at all, and suddenly he's important to us. So it just shows you that transfer window has some ramifications. But yeah, off his temper, he says Valencia simply isn't good enough. He's a good right back, says Jake Bullman. I don't disagree that Valencia is a good right back, but I don't think he's a very good captain. That's what I'm saying about that. Please don't tell lies, he said, about Paul Pogba. Be polite. He's a polite lad, and he's an educational lad, and we've never had any fights. There's no problem at all at the moment. He also said that he said, I don't care about the comments that Paul Pogba's made, because I want him to play for the team and for the fans. That's all I ask. Also said that he's very confident. This is what I liked about Jose as well. I forgot about this. He said, very confident about the weekend. We're going there to win. We've trained really well all week. What a contrast from last season to this. To get Jose Mourinho saying words like that. Good. This is what we want. Really good. And as I keep saying, look, I know some people don't want Mourinho at the club, but I believe Jose Mourinho will be at the club now for the next season, this season that we're in. So that is a good thing, that he is speaking positively like that. I mean, he certainly, didn't dismiss Brighton. He said 3 months ago we lost, which we did. Chris Hughton's a good manager. They're a well-organised club, and it's going to be tough. But we're confident, we go there to win, and we've had a good week of training, which we have. We didn't play since last Friday. So we're actually going to have a 9-day break between games. So this is positive for Manchester United, and I think we will beat Brighton. But let me take some of your comments on what Jose Mourinho has said, because that's the most important thing. I can tell you what he said, I can give you my interpretation, but what are your thoughts on everything that's said? Are you happy that Valencia's still captain? What do you think about the Pogba thing? Do you think it's just been brushed under the carpet and now they're going to have a professional, amicable relationship, which is what I think? Darmian staying, what are your thoughts on that? Confidence, what do you think on Jose Mourinho's demeanour? I personally think that Jose Mourinho's demeanour is a breath of fresh air. I didn't want to see the negativity back, and we didn't see it. So I am very, very, very happy about that. Who should be our right back if Valencia isn't, says Mick O'Sullivan. Look, I think Valencia probably is our first choice right back, Mick. I just personally think our fullbacks are on the decline. They're both 33, aren't they now? So we need to be looking at replacements. And to be fair, Annie Academy is right. Valencia can't play every week. That's been proved over the last couple of years. Delot is not back yet. Canal, no, he's not. Happy with Valencia. Pogba can earn it, says Andrew Thompson, in relation to the captaincy. Do I think Pereira will play on Sunday, says Asif Rahman. I hope he does. I hope he will. I've got a bad feeling that Fellaini will start, but I hope it is Pereira. Carrick remains captain all season, even when not playing. There should be an effective vice-captain on the pitch to lead, not Smalling, etc., says Lynn Hall. Mourinho has been matured about this whole Pogba situation, says Jimmo, he has. And you've got to applaud. I mean, please do drop a like on the video. I forgot to say that. But for all the criticism of Jose Mourinho, he could have dealt with this how he dealt with things last season. He could have been really negative. He could have been, I'm not answering any questions about Paul Pogba. And he didn't. He came out. He fielded the questions. I think there's clearly been a tactics chat between Mourinho and the PR team at Manchester United. And I think he's played it really well. The line I liked the best was, in the 2 years I've been here, I've never been so happy with Paul Pogba. That kills off any negativity from Mourinho's side. What does Pogba want to say? Will Pogba speak to the press anytime soon? We'll have to wait and see. Do you think Pogba will change his antics after Mourinho's positivity? Says Lebeek. I think he has to. When the manager is being positive about him, how can Pogba continue the negativity? He can't. So I think it's a clever move. Jose Mourinho's view on the captaincy is a joke. Pogba is such an obvious choice. It's mind-numbing. Vice-captain is Herrera or Lukaku, in my opinion, says Kejel. Jose has peaked, but you are stuck with him. Back him, says Mark Wignall. Lingard is a championship player, says Wengi. How positive is Martial sitting on the bench, says Chelsea Bond? Well, the Martial situation is a situation that's not been resolved, isn't it? But he is on the bench, and maybe that's going to be a slow burner. Move Sanchez to the right and start Martial on the left, says Russell Williams. I would love to see that against Brighton at the weekend. FIFA Predicts will be on my channel tonight, Luca, which is Goldbridge live stream. I do it on there now, and if nobody saw mean tweets that I put out this morning, that's doing very well in relation to the conversation that it's creating. I remember Jose saying last season he puts no importance on the captaincy, but definitely should be Pogba, says David Jones. The ball is now in Pogba's court, says Annie, which it is. Pogba isn't happy with Mourinho finding Martial as he took extra days off with his newborn, says Antonio. And United's PR chief left before the summer, which explains a lot, says Rune. Well, yeah, there definitely is an improvement in Jose Mourinho this season. And Jose back against the wall, so he's changing his behaviour, says Oshan. Which I think nails it. I think O'Shane has absolutely nailed it there. I think Jose Mourinho's back is against the wall. He's not got the signings, which shows a lack of faith from the board. He's got star players turning against him. I think if Mourinho did what he's done in the past and fought aggressively against it, he would lose his job. So he's got to try a different tact, and hopefully that will be good for United. I mean, what I'm excited about the weekend is there is some positivity there. Let's see if we get positivity in the performance in the way that we play football. That's what I want to see. Because I'm slightly concerned that Fellaini's back. Matic and Valencia aren't far away. I mean, you look at Matic and Fellaini and they are two players that really slow down our midfield, which was the problem last year. So hopefully we won't see any of them on Sunday. Goldbridge for right back, says Russell Williams. I think my footballing days are over. And what else we got? Captain should be De Gea, says Coffee. Well, it's a good shout. Good shout. Jose said he gives importance to leaders. Mark, what do you think will happen, says Sean McManus. With what? With EastEnders tonight? With Manchester United at the weekend, I think we'll win. Sanchez should play right wing, says Arins. Yes. And thank God Matic be back next week, says Robert McCormack. You see, some people are happy about that. Score prediction for Sunday, says Sean McManus. Mine was 3-1. Let Pogba leave, says Moity. Mourinho keeps kicking players hoping for a reaction, says Black Panther. And Ralph says, you're being a bit unfair, Mark. He's probably not Irish. Valencia has been here for years, a loyal member. I respect him, but make Pogba vice-captain. Ralph, I think you've hit the nail on the head there. He's been here for years. He's too old now. And to be honest with you, Ralph, I don't think captaincy is necessarily about the way you play football. What in Antonio Valencia makes him a captain material? He's quiet. He doesn't get involved in anything. He can't really speak the language. I don't think he's a very good captain at all. I think he's a terrible captain. I think he's a good right back. I think he's a terrible captain. But as somebody just said, Jose Mourinho doesn't necessarily put much weight on it. But I don't want to focus on that. Mourinho said Valencia is the captain. You can agree with it or disagree with it. That's fine. The positivity for me comes from the comments about Paul Pogba that Mourinho made. No problem with him. Never been so happy with him. The comments about the match itself. We're confident. We've had a good training week and we're going there to win. Good, good, good. There seems to be a turning of the corner with Jose Mourinho in the relation to the press conferences. He seems to be getting it this season. He seems to be getting the fact that there's quick wins by being positive and getting the fans on board. And he's certainly got me on board at the moment. We've got to go and win at Brighton and we've got to keep this positivity going. And I think Mourinho's doing everything he can to do that at the moment. So I'm looking forward to it. I really am looking forward to it. And I'm happy to be coming out of a Jose Mourinho press conference feeling positive, because last season that didn't happen a lot, and we've had another one from him today where he wasn't moaning, he wasn't negative, he was constructive, he was confident, and he was positive, and that is good. That is good. On the Pogba thing, look, let's not be naive. There's clearly something going on, but if that something is kept in-house, behind closed doors at Old Trafford or Carrington, I'm happy for that. All I want to do is see Mourinho building something positive this season and Pogba performing positively on the pitch. That's all we want. I don't need the drama. I don't need the soap opera. We don't need that. Thanks everyone for watching. Please do drop a like on the video. We're live tonight at 8 o'clock. And we've got something really exciting for you tonight. You're going to love it. So join us at 8 o'clock for that. We'll also be doing the Super Brew update at 8 o'clock tonight as well. So I'll see you all at 8 o'clock. Drop a like, subscribe if you're new, get commenting below. What are your thoughts on Jose Mourinho and another positive press conference? Are you fooled or do you think it's genuine? And what do you think about Pogba and Valencia? Loads to talk about. Get your comments in below. Speak to you all soon.